Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Pridebuzz TV. I'm CJ, and I'm located in Central Texas.
I'm Skyye, and I'm in Northeastern Ohio.
Hi, I'm Samaya, and I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm Princess, and I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Malaysia, and I'm in Jackson, Mississippi.
Today's topic is religion from the LGBTQ plus perspective. I guess the first person I'll throw it to would be Mr. Skyye Rodriguez. See what he has to say about religion.
All right. Let me tell you, first of all, religion is poison. It's a trap. Religion is just another type of imprisonment. Believe it or not, it's imposed by the government. I don't believe in religion. Now, I believe in spirituality. Some people call it that. What I believe in is having an actual relationship with your creator outside of rules. And I'm not going to say there's no rules, but if you have the right relationship with your creator, then you know the right way to behave. You know, you don't need somebody telling you, oh, you're supposed to do this, you got to do this, or else it don't count. No, only thing that counts, in my opinion, is your relationship with your creator.
Well, let me ask you first. Yeah. I wanted to say something because I was going straight for you too, Samaya, because I know we've talked about something similar to this previously. How do you feel about that?
I have a very abstract view on religion, and it's my personal belief, and that's basically what this is about. How do you believe? What is your belief? And I'm a spiritual person. I consider myself a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. I'm not Muslim. I don't have another. I don't call my God Allah. So, not to offend anybody, but I just call God God, and I believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins.
Well, one thing, I do believe in the Bible. I all the way believe the Bible is real. I believe that in the Bible, we were told what will happen in the end days. And one of the things that was said about the end days was man will become God of themselves. And I feel like me physically transitioning would be me becoming a God of myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I go. That's why I say I'm torn between my faith and my lifestyle, or my faith and, what I need, what I feel like I need. I know that obviously Yahweh put me in this body for a reason. And I try my best not to question or not to go against, because in the fruits of the spirit that you encountered, I don't know the right words, but basically, you know what I'm saying, if somebody come at you with, question it, don't just take it and run with it, you know what I'm saying? I believe that, you know what I'm saying, me physically transitioning would be me basically becoming a God of myself, because I've changed what he's already created and made, what was perfect in his own eyes. So who am I to tell him that he was wrong? You know what I'm saying?
And wait, while you're there, I wanted to just throw this straight to Malaysia briefly, because you're a new face with us here at Pridebuzz TV. So I think that it's fairly, only right that we ask you how you feel about this particular topic and the things that, in Skye's perspective, regarding religion and sexuality.
Okay, well, first and foremost, thank you all for inviting me into the conversation. I personally feel like everyone has their own beliefs, but what makes us human, to me, is our independence, whether it's in our religion, in our faith, in our spirituality, whatever the case may be. We're all totally different people, so my beliefs, I might feel strongly and passionately about them personally, but it's not who I am to push those beliefs onto anyone else. You have your own life to live. If you feel like however you depict your religion or your faith, is coordinating between you and either your God, whoever you worship, or whoever you cherish in that field, if you deem it to be okay, if you have that personal relationship with that particular person in your life, then by all means, accept it, go with it, and be just. You understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah.
my own personal belief. I do believe in heaven and hell. I do believe in God. My father was a reverend, so we are all created in His image, and He put us. Well, He put me, and I'm speaking of me. He put me on this earth to do magnificent things through Him, and that's how I live my life. Whether it's through my sewing and design, through my advocacy work on my job, whatever goes on in my life, I center it around Him and where He's leading me. I'm just following in whatever path that He opens the doors for me.
Right, absolutely. I understand that. And that's amazing. And having that particular perspective, I think that somewhere whereas along the line of Princess and I didn't really want to talk much about this topic, but I have to throw it to you, Princess, because I have to say how I feel, but I just want to get some feedback on that. Where do you stand with this?
I'm definitely in the situation. I was raised with religion in my family, so there's no question about that. Like, I second Malaysia on the fact of, yes, I believe in a heaven and hell. I also feel and know that there's only one person that can put me there. So for somebody to feel a certain way about me as an individual based off of ultimately what I do in my bedroom, because that's the only thing that changes me from the next individual in a sense. But that's the only thing that sets me apart from them. So to look down your nose at me in a sense, and I say me as in myself, because of course everyone doesn't have the same beliefs, but who are you to look down your nose to condemn me?
Yeah.
You can't, the pot calling the kettle black. You can't judge my sin because mine is no greater than yours. You judging me. So therefore, you pick your battles. Yeah. But I keep it minimal on that conversation with people in general, regardless if we have the same feelings, because it gets a little sketchy and some people get on major defense in it. And that's not somewhere.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I have something to say about that. As far as what you said, who is somebody to judge, you or whatever. My thing is, the thing that bugs me the most about these so-called Christians who are so quick to say, oh, you're gay, you're going to hell, or whatever the case. I'm like, 9 times out of 10, it's a woman with 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, never been married. Or it's an older lady who's overweight, or a younger person who's overweight. You know what I'm saying? Being overweight is a sin because everything in moderation, but if you overeat, that's a sin. Pride, being too prideful is a sin. You know what I'm saying? Telling a lie because you didn't want to go to work today, so you called out and said you were sick. That was a sin. And neither one of them sins is any greater than the other. You can go to hell just for lying about not being sick at work. The same way I can go to hell for sleeping with women when you see me as a female. You know what I'm saying? So either way it goes, we all gonna be in the same fucking hell you know what I'm saying? So neither one of us has any better chance or a better hell or a less of a hell. It's all hell. And if that's the case, we're all gonna be in that same bitch. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now the difference is I can be gay, trans, straight, single parent with 5 kids, never been married, I could be overweight, I could be a liar, I could be a murderer and still get to heaven. While you can live a perfect life and still go to hell. And this is my opinion, okay? This right here is my faith. And the difference is that I have a relationship with my creator and I may repent or he knows my heart or, we have a relationship, so he's gonna judge me on my relationship with him. Whereas this person who's been an outstanding citizen, never been in trouble, never told a lie, never killed a fly, refuses to acknowledge him, and they're automatically out. You know what I'm saying? But this is, again, my opinion. That's what I believe.
Yeah, definitely. I respect that. I mean, I think we all have individual perspectives when it comes to religion, but it all somehow it's talk aboutable, whether we agree or disagree with each other. But I think that it's important for people to be able to express their faiths. I don't think that anyone should feel like they need to keep their faiths hidden because people may judge them based on their faiths and stuff. So,
and I got something else to say. I have another issue with these so-called Christians who are in church every Sunday, who swear this, and that. That they're such a great Christian, they even like quote the Bible and stuff, but they don't even read the Bible. They just go to church and they let this man tell them what it says, and they don't open it up and read it and question it to see if he's telling them the truth. First of all, if you read your Bible, you wouldn't be in church on Sunday, because Saturday is a Sabbath. It tells you in black and white in the Bible. And if you believe the Bible and you supposedly be a Christian who follows the Bible, why are you in church on Sunday? That's a Roman Catholic thing where they worship the sun god. That's why they go to church on Sundays. Second of all, I'm about to make CJ mad.
Child, don't start talking about how this earth is flat.
That's exactly where I was going.
Oh Lord.
Let him have his moments.
Let's get it. I'm ready.
All right. Very first chapter of the Bible is Genesis. Very first book, is Genesis. And in the very first chapter, he tells you the earth is, he doesn't tell you that it's round or flat, but he tells you that it's not round. He tells you that, well, no, wait. What does he say? He says void and without form, and he formed it, whatever. All right, let's skip that part. In other parts of the Bible, it's going to give you the same multiple descriptions of the earth, and it's always stable and immovable. He's always says he's got angels at the four corners of the earth, and he's always saying basically how it doesn't move, and there's four corners. Like, that's a repetitive thing in there. And then in Genesis, he tells you that he built a firmament around the earth to protect us to separate us from the heavens. So these so-called NASA people who swear they've been to the moon, but they went to the moon in 1969, but in 2004, they said they couldn't get Van Allen radiation belt, which is supposed to be so close to the earth, yet the moon is supposed to be so far away. And I watched an interview, and the dude asked the guy, he's like, well, how did we go to the moon? Well, how did we get past it in 1969 when we went to the moon, but we can't get past it now? This man gonna say, we didn't know about it then. So you mean if you don't know about it, you can get past it, but if you do know about it, all of a sudden you can't? I probably should have saved that for the one about my flat earth conspiracy theories, but yeah. Anyway.
Flat earth conspiracy theories. I have to debunk that.
Well, I'm ready for the rebuttal.
And I could pull out the books on you, but I'm not even really in the mood for it tonight. But I'm not going to rebuttal the fact that some of the stuff that you said is true about some of the quotes. The people that you quoted, they have misquoted before. But Skyye, we are not going to debate that the earth. We are not going to.
Say it.
Skyye, the earth is round.
It actually.
I don't even need to pull out no big words or pull up the articles. I'm just gonna leave it at one sentence. Skyye, the earth is round.
So let me just say this. Just because you quote the good book does not make you Christian. Just like I could give you a quote from any books that I've read. Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, I can give you I can give you a quote from any of the books that I've read. I can give you quotes that I've made up myself. That doesn't necessarily make me or make me an author to any of these novels, honey. It doesn't make me a professor of any type of literature when it comes to any college courses or life. Period, point blank. So when they quote these books, 9 times out of 10, they're not getting an understanding themselves on what that word is saying, which is what I found, first and foremost. Secondly, the issue that I have when it comes to religion, especially these faith-based organizations or these churches or whatnot, I have an issue with you condemning one particular sexuality in your church when everyone knows, especially in the African-American community, the church is made up of more LGBT folks than the regular old congregation that's been dying off over the years, if y'all understand what I'm saying when I say that. I don't have an issue with a particular church until they start talking about the demographic of the congregation. And I honestly feel like if you got to know people in your congregation, whether it's LGBTQIA, whomever it is, if you took the opportunity to get to know, honestly, the people in your congregation, the faith-based leaders, wouldn't have that much of an issue with who we are or who we have become, especially in the transgender community. Um, Again, I'm a praying woman, irregardless as to anything. Prayer changes things in my book. I don't run around here saying God did this, God did that, but I know where my heart lies. I know where to give my praise and honor to. You know, I can't condemn anyone else because that's not my job. But when it all boils down to it, God taught love, irregardless as to anything. It didn't matter if you was a whore. It didn't matter if you were a prostitute. It didn't matter if you were a bum. It didn't matter if you were wealthy. He taught love, and that's one thing that I feel like the community these days have forgotten about because they're too busy pointing fingers at whomever else they want to condemn. And what they don't realize is if we built the community up around ourselves and actually put people in places that we deem to be important, it would make a whole lot more sense. And maybe our communities would be a little bit more stronger like they used to be back in the day when our true grandmamas raised us.
Right. And so, do you think that that kind of contributes to why a lot of youngsters these days are considering themselves to be more spiritual than religious these days?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Regardless as to anything, and I can just tell you how I grew up. I didn't grow up going to church Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, but I stayed in church enough. You know, it was not a choice to go on Sundays. It was a requirement in my household to go on Sundays. Period, point blank. Everyone, I'd say 90 to 95% of the South, the Southerners, the true Southerners, they can already tell you Sunday morning, we get up going to church. I don't care if you stayed out and partied till 4, 5 o'clock Saturday night, Sunday morning, you got up 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock and had your butt in church, whether you were in there asleep or wide awake, you were in that church. And, you know, that led to a lot of families being able to dictate what actually happened in their families. You understand? Instead of having so many outside resources, so many outside influences, it was strictly based on family. Now, whether your family wasn't strong enough to accept you for who you became, that was an issue that family dealt with. That wasn't an issue that everybody else in the community dealt with. Regardless as to anything, 9 times out of 10, you were still going to be a part of that family once they understood it. But nowadays, you don't have that family-based relationship anymore. So now you have all these other influences where these folks are getting put out on the streets for whatever reason because Miss Jeffrey or Mr. Thompson or whoever is beating into these folks' ears their beliefs, and they don't even know what they believe. Because when you go to them, you ask them about LGBTQ, what does that mean? What the hell do you think it means? You know, you have your beliefs. If you hate a particular demographic so much, but you can't explain to me what it means, then that's an issue. That's a personal issue within you, not me.
Social studies used to be a social science because it was part of the science department. It was just because it's a study. It's a study of something. So I know for a fact that not only was the Bible not actually written until around 367, there were just pieces. The Bible and what we see in our hand now were just pieces, and it was combined around 367 AD. So, you know, there just if I wrote you a letter and 11 of my friends wrote some other pieces of importance. I'm not trying to just beat around the bush, but if it took almost 400 years for people to put it into a bound collection, what do you think could have happened? I don't know about the conspiracy theory. I just know how human beings are. And in addition, the original Bible was written in Hebrew. Everybody should know that, but it didn't get printed until the I mean, I can't give you a year, even though I should know one, but it was right before the Renaissance. It was around um, when Martin Luther came around, because that's when they invented the printing press. And guess what language the Bible was written in then? I mean, printed in then was in German. So the first printed version of the Bible wasn't even in English. So me coming from a household where my first language was a totally different language, I know people misconstrue stuff. I know, it's a little far reach saying that the Bible has been switched and flopped around, but I think there's been some changes that we probably are not as aware of as we should be. But me, from a personal perspective, just bringing it all back in, and I just go over into the technical part of it. I feel like my biggest problem from the LGBTQ community is that I've been to several churches where I feel like that it's and it never comes with a warning, but LGBTQ people get attacked randomly because that conversation, the sermon eventually always comes down to something that's LGBTQ focused. It's been a while, and you know why it's been a while for me? Because I've chosen not to go to churches like that, because this is like we're constantly picking out, because a lot of gay people do look more outwardly gay. Maybe not me, but I'm with my wife. So, I'm not about to be ashamed of being with my wife.
I definitely agree with you wholeheartedly when it comes down to it. It's a lot of people who lose sight of what's important. It was a lady on Facebook. She was in this nice neighborhood in Memphis, and she was pretty much just saying, hey, these kids growing up, nice neighborhood, random kids come in stealing. They pull off in Infinities, leaving the scene. She pissed because she's like, this is my child. But ultimately what it boiled down to is she's like, take care of your children. Because if I'd had my pistol, I'd have shot them. I don't care who they are, who they belong to, anything. Everybody want to condemn somebody when it comes to family. But family don't really exist anymore. Not like it used to. Like she said, grandma say something. Grandma going to say something to everybody in the neighborhood. That's because you chose to, you made the decision that we are a family, we're going to work together. That's where a lot of people, these Bible-toting Christians are in the church, believing this. Like you said, you following somebody, and you don't really know what you believe in. But families stick together and make it work. Regardless of, hey, yeah, I was taught this and the third. As a family, you accept each other. God taught love, period. He didn't teach all this, because you can look at children and tell. Children are innocent and they do some things, and you look at them and you try to question why. There's no question to that. That's an innocent child that love, and that's all they know, unless they're taught something totally different.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's a whole form of disagreeing. I just think it's a meeting of the minds, because as adults, regardless as to anything, like I said when we first started, we have our own minds. We have our own collective thought process, and we can't allow another person to take that away from us. That's a right that we fought hard to obtain. So for me to let Skyye, you, Princess CJ, or tell me that how I'm feeling is wrong, then that's crazy. You lose who you are. And another issue, I think, is that we've been brainwashed so much from the religious community to the point where a lot of us don't know whether we coming or going, and we just snatching for straws to try to save ourselves from drowning, and ain't none of them working.
Yeah. I think people, I don't like for someone to, let me figure out how I'm trying to say this. I like to talk to people, and I like to learn where they come from. I like to know what they believe. I like to know what they live by. And I want to be able to tell them what I believe, what I live by. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to tell them the same thing. Now, when I tell you what my beliefs are, when I tell you what I think is true, I'm not telling you because I'm trying to convert you to think and believe what I do, what I believe. I'm just telling you because I just want you to know that's who I am. And when you tell me what you believe, and which you live by, I don't want you to try to force that on me. I just want us to be able to understand and know that, okay, CJ believes this, Skyye believes this, Malaysia believes this, but we can all still get along even though we all believe something different. And I don't see a problem with that.
But anybody had any last thoughts?
I just want to close out by saying the earth is flat.
I'm done with you, Scott. Well, can we disagree and say that the world is oval?
It's what?
Let's not.
Damn that. Damn that. I don't care what y'all feel. The earth rotates on its axis, which is what we've been taught since we were in school. I don't care.
Yes.
There's a North Pole where it's cold as shit, and there's a South Pole where it's hot as hell. In between there, the equilibrium is what holds everything in place. It spins. I don't give a damn. If you stand still long enough outside and look up at the sky, you'll see it spinning around in front of your eyes.
Right.